Hey everybody, and welcome back. You know, if you've been around the channel for a long time, you can go back several years. You can see a very long history of very technical information explaining why the M8 is different than the twin cam, explaining things about EVOs and all this type of stuff. Compression ratios, blueprinting engines, all this stuff. There's an enormous amount of highly technical data that you would find years worth on the channel. Well, quite frankly, there's a lot of you guys that do a small amount of work for yourself at home. You are the DIY guy. A large part of the information that I share with you guys is just to educate you so that you know if you're talking to me as your chosen shop or another shop, you have more information. It arms you as a consumer to have a better understanding of the type of work that they may be doing. And also what it takes to build custom blueprinted engines. So there's a ton of information there. Now, as you may have noticed in the last video where I started talking about shipping, there's a few videos in my history there where I talked about, you know, little short tips and tricks and things like that, that's geared more toward you DIY guys. And of course, guys, I want to help you out as much as I can. And in today's video, there's one particular thing I want to talk to you about. It's been around for a long time. It's nothing new. But the biggest thing that has changed is that they are now more affordable. They are more affordable, yet they still work great. And what I want to talk about today are ultrasonic cleaners, a way that you can clean parts at home, everything from fasteners to engine parts, etc. But you also have to be very careful with these things. They can do some damage. And so I kind of want to go through some nuances. I've used ultrasonic cleaners actually for a long time. But again, they have their nuances. So I want to cover a couple of those things. And if you'll stick around for the balance of the entire video, we're going to talk about ultrasonic cleaners. Another thing I want to do is talk to you about the upcoming fundraiser and how I would love to help our local community with your help. So stick with me. One of the first things I want to mention, if you've been a subscriber for a long time and this video popped up, do me a favor, look and make sure you're still subscribed. This seems to be a crazy thing that's going on across the YouTube platform and every genre of video for every video creator. We're not really sure yet what's going on yet, but in reality, channels that you were subscribed to at one time, for some reason, you may not be subscribed to that channel anymore. It seems like they're just unsubscribing you automatically. We have no idea why. We haven't figured it out, and I've talked to YouTube about it, and they really can't give me a solid answer. So that being said, if you have been a subscriber previously, double check and make sure you're still subscribed. Hit the reminder bell to receive all notifications and such. And let's kind of restore that subscription to what it used to be. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, double check, make sure you're still subscribed. So before I get into the thing about the ultrasonic cleaners, you DIY guys, etc., let's roll back a little bit. You guys may remember a couple of years ago, I had started a video series on how to paint, working very closely with the Dan-Am Company and SADA. That's a beautiful piece right there. And I was in the middle of doing a video series on how to paint. And unfortunately, that video series got cut short and I had to stop midstream because of the move and building this building, 100+ hour weeks, driving back and forth, the craziness that ensued. I didn't have the opportunity to complete that video series. I do want to complete that video series, and we're going to tie that into a fundraiser to help out this community that I'm located in now. And again, I'm working in conjunction with Andy Anderson from Anderson Studios, and Andy is an absolute world-renowned artist, screen printer, and painter. He's exceptionally gifted, and I have learned so many things from Andy, it would take forever for me to list those things. The second element of this is a fellow named Tony Larimer, who has been with the Dan-Am Company. They are the exclusive distributor for SADA, spray gun, spray equipment, everything like that. And I've been friends with Tony for quite some time. And I'm working kind of in partnership with Dan-Am Company, SADA, and also Andy for a fundraiser. Now, I had mentioned in that previous video, I'd tell you guys a little bit more about it. And what it comes down to, where I am located now is an impoverished county. It's quite a thing to see. And essentially, we have children living in areas, in homes and trailers where they don't even have running water or indoor plumbing. It's quite a thing. Now, when you take an impoverished area, what you're left with is children that quite often don't get very much for Christmas. They may not have access to certain toys and primarily bicycles. If we think about it, if we can get kids on two wheels now, it helps to preserve the future of our industry in this motorcycle world that we love. A lot of that ties into the All Kids Bike program, and if you'd like to know more, you can go back a couple of years, give or take, in conjunction with you guys and Clockworks and a few other companies and all you people that gave donations. We were able to place the first two All Kids Bike programs into the state of Georgia. When we did that, essentially, it is a scholastic fitness program that we place inside of an elementary school, and even down to the PE teacher, they have a program and a bit of training they have to go through, and they're provided with 25 pedal bicycles. You may be familiar with the Strider push bikes. Not only are they provided with 25 bicycles, they are also provided with pedal kits once these young kids get used to balancing this bicycle. Then pedal kits can be installed, and then they learn how to pedal. Then they learn how to ride bicycles. It's wonderful. An instructor bicycle is given, and then also storage racks and helmets and all the things they need to have this wonderful program put into a school. Now, keep in mind, the school gets to keep this program, and every single year, kids are exposed to the joy and fun of enjoying two wheels and team building and all the things, exercise, all those wonderful things that happen when you get kids involved in a fitness program. That's really what the All Kids Bike program is about. You can go to the allkidsbike.com website, read a little more about it. Go back through my YouTube history. You'll see the videos that we did from not only the build party, but also from the school, who talked about how beneficial it was to them. Now, I would like to put one of those programs into the county that I am located in now, and I've already talked to the principal of the school, the superintendent and such, and it would be hugely beneficial to everything here, but I need you guys, I need your help to do it. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to do it and what it's going to take to make it happen. So in conjunction with learning how to paint and continuing on with that video series that I had started with Sada, the Dan Company, and Andy Anderson, what I would like to do is create an art piece for you guys. This is a 14 gauge, 12 by 24 piece of very heavy gauge steel. And I want to do a raffle. Now, the idea would be for me to utilize that piece of metal, and I'm going to be incorporating everything from candies in this beautiful magic blue to this Tangelo pearl. We're also going to be pulling out airbrushes. We're going to be doing epoxy primers and sealers, and even utilizing a technology that you may remember from the previous videos, actually using crushed glass in the base coat instead of using metal flake. Crushed glass goes back a long time. It was actually a big thing used in, their 50s and 60s hot rod days and all that type of stuff. Gene Winfield was a proponent of it as he's doing his leading on all these lead sleds and the Mercs back in the day. So there will be all sorts of things from pinstriping to airbrushing, all incorporated into creating a beautiful art piece that would be suitable to hang on your wall or in your garage. Now, the plan is, here's the kicker. The program just a few years ago was about $5,600 to put it into a school. The program now, as of a week ago when I talked to the folks at All Kids Bike, that program is now $9,000 to put it into the school. That's the true cost, $9,000. Here's the best way I can think to do this. I would like to paint this panel. This panel all along the way, instructing folks on how to paint, utilizing all that. It's going to be a lot of hours invested in this, but produce this art piece, and I'm only going to produce one. After that art piece is completed, it would be signed by Andy Anderson, myself, and Tony Larimer. And the goal is to then raffle this one-of-a-kind art piece off. And the raffle tickets, I believe a fair price would be around $25 per raffle ticket. Now, if you look in the description of this video, you will see a link where you can go directly to my website and purchase as many raffle tickets as you would like to have. $25 a piece per raffle ticket. Each raffle ticket gives you one opportunity to earn this art piece. Now, there's also an option for you to put in a custom donation there. And that custom donation, if $25 may be outside your budget, if you can do $5, $10, whatever the case may be, it would be wonderful. And 100% of it is going to go to providing this program for this school locally. All right. So one thing to keep in mind, this is the easiest way that I can think to do it. There's about a 3% credit card fee that goes along with that. So while I say 100% will go, 100% will go. And then we have to account for that 3% for credit card fees. But that's going to be the easiest way that I can think of for total transparency. I'm not looking to profit anything here. I just hope that we can collectively raise $9,000 to be able to buy this program for this local school, with a goal of having it in place by the start of the school year in August 1st. So we'll see how it goes. Now, as far as you guys that are going to be buying the raffle tickets, please be patient with me. This isn't an easy project to do, and so it could be 2 to 3 months after that before I complete the project. But with absolute certainty, there will be someone, a single person, that gets to win the raffle on this art piece. So now, let's talk about ultrasonic cleaners. And click the link in the description and maybe click the button and let's help some cool kids. So let's talk about ultrasonics. Ultrasonic cleaners have come a long way in the past few years. One of the biggest and most wonderful things about them is that they're vastly more affordable than what they were a whole bunch of years ago, making them a lot more affordable for you DIY guys. And, you know, if you got to talk your better half into buying one, they're pretty good for cleaning jewelry and brass and silver and all those other things too. But there are some risks that come with using an ultrasonic cleaner, and it's a technology that is largely already developed. The thing that comes down to these ultrasonic cleaners is the frequency, the time, the temperature, the chemicals that you're using. There are several nuances that come with these things that you need to educate yourself on before you use one, because believe it or not, you can actually do some damage. So before I get into kind of telling you a little bit about this small, very economical ultrasonic cleaner that I've added to my arsenal, it's something I've used for a long time and had an opportunity to have some experience with it. So I do know, again, those nuances, some of the damage you can do, but if done responsibly and correctly, it can be a wonderful piece of equipment for you to have not only in your shop, but at home as well. So I want to start with kind of giving you guys an example of how well these things work before I get into more detail. I'm going to throw some pictures up and things like that. So if we start with a piston, this is a stock piston out of an M8. You can see the amount of carbon on here. I've already taken some effort in cleaning this up. I ran it through my parts washer and I scrubbed it a bit. You can see there's still quite a bit of things going on there. And then when we start looking in the piston ring grooves and all that, there's still some carbon in there, some rough spots. Didn't clean it too well. So then I decided to take the mating piston out of that engine and run it through the ultrasonic. It's quite incredible, right? We can see this thing is nearly spotlessly clean. The rings are still in wonderful condition, and all of the ring lands are also in great condition. So in the state it's in, basically straight out of the ultrasonic, after a close inspection, I would not hesitate to reuse this piston under certain caveats. In other words, it cleaned it really well, and if you'll notice, it did no damage to the top of the piston. Quite incredible. Now, so that's one extreme. Now let's talk about another extreme. You guys may remember I did this, I had started and I'm nowhere near finished, rebuilding an inline 302 6-cylinder GMC engine, and there were all kinds of brackets and things. So I started dropping some of these brackets into my Ultrasonic just to get some of the grease and stuff off of them. And it cleaned them up really well. I didn't leave this part in there very long. Here's another part I only dropped in there for a couple of minutes. There's still some grease left and such. But, you know, utilizing an Ultrasonic for different parts, components, hardware, all those other things. Now, this is where some of the caveats come in. And it requires you to do a bit of testing and also a bit of research. There are plenty of companies out there that make different solvents and chemicals that you can run in an Ultrasonic. But I would highly recommend, before you just start throwing parts into one of these things, that you do a little bit of research and a little bit of testing. And here's a prime example. So here I have 2 rocker boxes off of a shovel head. Both of these came off the same engine and were in the exact same state when I removed them. They were oily, they were nasty, they were tarnished. And I want you to look closely at this rocker box, right? You see a bit of staining on this one, but it is cleaned exceptionally well. It has no grease remaining or anything like that. I'll get into more detail on what I used as a solvent to clean it. Now I want you to look at this one. See how black it is, right? Now here's an interesting thing. Let's compare them side to side. See the black? Now, this one, I set the Ultrasonic cleaner at roughly 150 degrees Fahrenheit and ran it for about 30 minutes. This one I ran up to 175 to 180 degrees and ran it for the same amount of time with the same solvent. Notice how this one started turning black. So to use one of these things, it does require you to do a bit of research and have some understanding. It can make quite a bit of difference in the 2 pieces. Now, we are dealing with cast aluminum. Cast aluminum is vastly more sensitive than, say, steel wood, what you typically see in hardware and different brackets and things. So just be aware when you're using natural finish aluminum stuff, it's a little more sensitive into what you would use. Second thing we've got to consider is anything that's been powder coated. For example, if I take a set of, say, early model Evo heads, we start working into twin cam, that maybe there's, there have been many heat cycles, they've got several tens of thousands of miles on a part, that powder coat can be largely burned off. So if I dump that in an Ultrasonic cleaner at a very high heat with a very strong solvent, there is a possibility that I can strip the powder coat off of that component. So we have to use some common sense here and understand how Ultrasonic cleaners work. Essentially, it's a very high frequency vibration. And a vibration that's in there creates these little tiny microscopic air bubbles that attack the surface, and it's cavitation. Very much like when you have a sumping issue in your late model engine and you aerate your oil mixture, that aerated oil goes into your oil pump, it cavitates and can destroy an oil pump. That's all for other videos I've done in the past. That being said, while it seems like a very delicate process, the length of time, temperature, and the solvent that you use can play a critical role into the outcome of what it is that you have in the device. But Ultrasonic cleaning at the same time is one of the safest and most productive ways to thoroughly clean a part. And I want to give you a couple of tips. I'll tell you how I use mine. First off, I'm going to throw up a couple of pictures as to this smaller one that I have and show you the solvent that's in it and what I'm using. You're going to be surprised as to what that is, believe it or not. As a general rule, I run deionized water or, spring water, that sort of thing. Clean water with a little bit of Dawn. And it doesn't take much. You're only talking maybe a quarter of a cup of Dawn, and that makes it a very good solvent and grease remover. I shouldn't call it a solvent. It makes it a great grease remover to remove grease and contaminants from parts. And you just Dawn, water, and I leave that in there as my base material, and it works wonderful. Now, if you've got something like certain hardware, steel, brackets, things like that, that have a much harder surface than, say, cast aluminum would, those may require more of a strong cleaning agent. I've used things like Simple Green. I have used this LA Totally Awesome Cleaner as a degreaser. I've used those things in it as well, but I'm going to give you a little trick. Now, we think of using water and Dawn as your base. It's wonderful to clean aluminum parts because it's a lot less aggressive. It'll remove all the grease, contaminants, things like that. But we want to keep that in there as a base. Now let's imagine we want to use something that's a much stronger solvent for your steel hardware, brackets, things like that. Believe it or not, you can take a plastic water bottle. You take a plastic water bottle, cut the top off of it, and then you can pour your solvent in here. I've used everything from lacquer thinners and stuff like that, you know, really strong solvents in there with hardware, and then just put that inside the cleaner and let it sit. The effect is the same, but you're able to clean smaller components with a solvent without wasting the Dawn and water that's in there. In other words, you look at it from a multi-use type of perspective, and you could have multiple cups for multiple types of solvents. And it's a great way to remove Loctite and oil and grease and all types of different contaminants when a heavy solvent is required, preventing you from having to completely empty this thing out. So it's a little tip and trick on how to preserve what you have in there already. Now, I am going to post a link in the description for how you can get one of these. I'm going to post up a couple of pictures here of what the inside of mine looks like. But what I want to invite you guys to do, when you click on that link, again, these things are incredibly affordable these days, and they work exceptionally well. I use them for all sorts of things when I'm building a bike or after I machine a particular part, everything else. But if you decide to purchase one of these things, you can get them relatively small, all the way up to big 6-gallon units from this company. And do your research. Speak with companies that sell solvents for ultrasonic cleaners. Get their advice on what types of solvent you should use for whatever it is that you're cleaning. Check the link below. And also, as a reminder, there's going to be another link down there that will take you to the webpage on my website where you could make a donation for the All Kids Bike Program. And I hope with you guys and your partnership that we can all work together to get some awesome kids on some awesome bikes and make a difference in thousands of kids' lives for years to come. So again, guys, I appreciate you watching. Check this out. Check the link out. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And it is Memorial Day weekend. Thanks to all of those that paid the ultimate sacrifice. We appreciate you. Take care of yourselves and each other. You guys have a good one.